Hi, welcome to the Inspired Woman Project. This is Mikki Kingrey, and today I'm here with Dina Washington. Hi, Dina.
Hi, Mikki.
Welcome. I'm happy to
Thank
have
you.
you here. I'm excited
Glad
to
to be here.
hear your story and have you share your perspectives with us. Dina is a soul passion coach. And so, Dina, I'd love to have you start with sharing a bit about your work in the world.
My work in the world is to encourage and sometimes challenge the people that I cross paths with and work with to remember why they are here
Mm.
and the work that they came here to do and to get to doing it. And sometimes that may mean a shift in work. Other times that may mean a shift in how you are showing up in your life, but you're doing it consciously. You're doing it heartfully. And for my female friends out there where it applies, more femininely than maybe you have in the past. My focus is to step away from the societal programming, if you will, that we've had on what it takes to have a life, do a life, be a life, and go to your authentic expression of that. I truly feel that each one of us has this gem inside that's just bursting to get out. And to the degree that we start looking in here instead of everything that's outside, the richer the life is, the fuller the expression and interaction with life, and you get to do what you came here for, which
Mm.
rocks as far as I'm concerned.
Awesome. What is your gem? I want to know.
My gem is actually being able to connect a person to what their truth is.
Mm.
I, in my former life, used to do a variety of things at a biotech firm that I worked at, but one of them was occasionally interviewing people. And I would help a person remember what the key elements for them to know that this life was well and truly lived are. And then we would go over, oddly enough, it would be in a job interview, but we would help them get to what really mattered for them.
Mhm.
And some of them would be like, oh, now I know what to do. Cool. It's just, I have an aptitude to abide with a person, give them the sacred space of being seen and the proximity and calmness to say, there's no rush here. This is the beauty of you right now. Revel in it. Now talk
Beautiful.
to me. So,
Mm.
yes.
Love it. So tell me more about the path that brought you into this moment. So what was the work that you did before? What was the path that you took that brought you into this space?
Certainly. I have a college degree and went and got a job at a biotech firm. And it was okay. It was not what I considered the best use of me, but it was a good use of me for a number of years. And the company was acquired by another company. Just before that, I was starting to feel this, for lack of better phrasing, angst in my heart that something else needed to be birthed, not just from me, but through my heart. And I wasn't going to get it where I was. That was apparent. I'd already been there 14 years.
Mm.
After that point, the company had been acquired, and I saw a shift in the values, and they weren't in alignment with my values. And I had to have the hard acknowledgement with myself that if I stayed, I would simply be working and giving my days, life, and energy to support a lifestyle. That was not acceptable.
Mm.
So I've come to Hawaii for a number of years. My maternal grandparents actually met in Oahu in the 30s. So
Mm.
our family has an affiliation with the islands. And I told my boss then, there's going to be a change, but I need to go to Hawaii to figure out what it is. So
That's beautiful.
standing with my feet at a shoreline, actually on Molokai, with the sun glaring down on me, looking at both Lanai and Maui in the distance, I asked, can I do this? You're stepping away from everyone who works on creating a career. You're stepping away from not only that, but I was looking at moving without knowing where I was going to live and where I was going to work. And it resonated through my spine, down to my feet, up to my head, back up. What other option is there but to continue? And that was no longer an option. So went back and told my boss I'm going to be leaving, and this is my timeline. And she was retiring, so it worked out rather gracefully because we were a great team. I made the move, sold my house, came over, and within 2 weeks had landed a place to stay and a new job, which doesn't usually flow as gracefully, but that validated to me the necessity of not so much what I needed to do, but where I needed to be on this planet. And during those first 2 weeks, hauled butt, going everywhere, trying to figure out where the best fit was for me next. And about 3.5 years, almost 4 years later, I realized that stepping stone is done. So now what do we do? And had been exposed, had been coaching on and off, with various people while at the biotech firm. And while I was at my job that I came here to stepped into, but became interested in this thing called the passion test, where you help people align with their top passions and then how to integrate those passions into a life. From there, decided, okay, let's go for coaching, because I can give a person the space that they're not giving themselves to get the answers that they desire, and then we work it out in enthusiasm and truth, and sometimes stepping out on a ledge of what the next step is, but with the confidence that because this is your truth, you're ready to soar, baby. Go. So left that in order to pursue going deeper into the coaching genre, which is where I find myself now. I'm also doing a couple of other things. I'm working on a book. I'm contributing to an anthology book on women in power, one of 50 authors. And I am working on a sci-fi novel that is to challenge people's concepts of what value of a life is and values that you are living, and being in honor and in integrity with those.
And that sounds very interesting. Challenging values.
Yes.
You're
yes.
shaking things at the core, it sounds like.
Yes. Well, it kind of, goes full circle when I realized I wasn't working at a place that was in alignment with my values. So it's an ever cycling theme, it seems like, in my life.
That's beautiful. So you had mentioned soul passion, and how when people connect back with this part of them, it's like they're living their truth, and it kind of just things can take off from there. What is it that you see happen for people when they're, kind of bumping up against that? Like you had mentioned in your story too, that there was this moment where it was like, once you saw it, there was no going back, right?
Yes.
So what is it that comes up for people right before they get to that part?
Fear.
And how do you help them to move through it so they can get to that, flying goodness that comes on the other side?
I have a phrase that I like to tell some of my friends. I am just as human as everyone else, so there are times where fear gets the best of me. But when I am in the moment, realizing this is just fear. Okay, fear, you can either step to the side and walk beside me, or you can get behind me. But right now, in front of me is no longer an option. The other thing that I will do, because I learned long ago, and I think many of us know this, wherever love is in abundance, fear cannot abide. So I have a phrase, I'll just say it: wherever love resides, fear cannot abide. And with that, I'll know, okay, maybe the fear is too strong. Let me do something that I love in this moment. Let me talk to someone that I love in this moment. Let me find a puppy playing somewhere.
Where's the puppy? Yeah.
Where's a cute baby that I can just smile, that takes my breath away? And it's amazing how it will evaporate that fear in that moment. Now, it's a choice. Once you've hooked into that, whether you go back to engaging the fear, then that's a habit that needs to be addressed in a completely different way. But you have shifted yourself enough into a truth of what life is, at its original essence. Babies, the puppies, the laughter, the people we love.
Yeah.
It's undeniable that you can go, oh yeah, there is more. And then you live in the question, not the answers of the fear, or the fear-based answers, I should say.
I love that. So what are some of the values that you're seeing are needing to be shaken up a little bit?
The value, they're so fun. They're so fun. Um, One of the things that comes to mind is because you are on a trajectory or a road or a path that seemed great to you 10, 20 years ago, has to be the one you see through. No longer true. Once upon a time it was. It's no longer true, especially as we acknowledge how diverse and multifaceted we are as human beings. We have so much more to offer than what we would do showing up in a particular role. Whether that role be a way we are in a particular friendship, or whether that role be a particular way we show up at work, or even that role be a way we particularly show up as a parent. To allow and honor the fact that we are so diverse, and to let, I like to use the metaphor of a diamond, to let the light shine on the different facets that we are, so that not only do we get to feel more into our lives, but people around us get to, oh, there's a different way to do this. Oh, you don't know this part of me yet. Let me show you this part. And it's not to be ugly about it or mean or just like, oh, I didn't know you were creative. Oh, I didn't know you were such, a good speechwriter. I didn't know you were such an awesome gardener. Thanks for these flowers, whatever. It could be anything. It could be that you're such a tech savvy person, or you were bashful and didn't feel like speaking your mind because you were discouraged, only for other people around you to find out you have these amazing words that are just ready to pour. So it's getting stuck in the roles is one. Another is the concept that, and I think we're doing a great job of shifting it, what success is. For many years, even generations, it was based upon what you accumulated. Now it is more based upon what you experience, based upon what your heart needs to experience, based upon the society of friends that you have, the community that and tribe you resonate with, and how to uplift that. That's success. Now we're talking.
Yeah. So what is your definition of success right now?
Right now, thank you for putting the right now in there, because it shifts
It
all the
does.
time.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, honestly, on a day-to-day basis, it has to do with how I feel at the end of the day. Did I live this day with a loving joy? Not Pollyanna, but loving joy because I did what I valued. I showed up and interacted with people in a very conscious and present way, that they were seen, that they were known, and they were valued. And at the end of the day, fortunately, because I live in Hawaii, it's very common to do that. So you feel intimately connected after a 2-minute conversation. And you may not see that person for another 3 or 4 months, but it's all good. And what I've noticed is between that and the business choices that I make and the people that I choose to engage in and with business, there's this effervescence that comes up that fuels me to no end of delight, so that when the end of my day comes, I know this was well lived. That to me is success. Doesn't happen every day, but if I have it happening more often than not, great. If I'm having a time where I've overcommitted, or I've committed to things that I wasn't so sure about, or are no longer in alignment with me because I committed so long ago, I feel compromised on those days. And to be honest, I don't feel so great when I go to sleep, other than I'm like, God, thank you, that was over. So I choose very consciously what I step into. I enjoy it in the moment. And at the end, I get the reverb, the ripple effect from it at the end of my day. That to me is a success. And that days like that are months and years like that.
That's beautiful. So what would be a tip or something that people could take away that would help them if they're maybe still looking for the way for them to fully express themselves in their truth, or they're looking for that way to make sure that they're aligned with what it is that they want for themselves currently? What would be something that you might offer to them that they could take away?
It may seem simplistic, but it really isn't, because we tend to get very distracted by our lives these days and commitments. But one thing that I like to direct people to do is to follow the breadcrumbs of passion. There are certain moments, times, days where there's a color that you just fall in love with. It's on somebody's sweater. And you're just like, let me love this for a moment and then find out, where did I come across this before, or how can I replicate this in my life? Or you hear a song that your head starts bobbing to in the background somewhere, and you, oh, I remember that from, or where is that? That's new. Follow the breadcrumbs of passion as they show up. It's not about a life being lived on a treadmill of same activity day after day. You have, all of us, have opportunities where these amazing, it could be a bird out of the blue that you weren't expecting to hear chirp. It could be a smile from a stranger when you are in a place where strangers don't normally smile. Let your heart be lit up and then in kind share. Part of it's the pay it forward, but part of it really is being present enough to your life to recognize when it shows up. Now, if you're really, really disconnected, and I recall speaking with a woman once who she felt she had a great husband, good job, but felt no passion. Just was working to make money and help her family. And I said, I don't care if it's a blouse color that when you open your wardrobe in the morning that just catches your eye. Follow that. Decide you need to go for, and say, 10, 15-minute walk at work during a break, where normally you would do the same old, which bores you. Be attentive to what shows up. Is it the vision of the reflection of the sun across the water that makes you light up a little bit more? Give yourself that. Is it the fact that you're feeling your body in motion and that you're able to enjoy being full of vitality and alive and to go for this walk? Acknowledge that. Follow the breadcrumbs of passion. They lead to greater passion.
I love it. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I
My
can
pleasure.
feel it in my body. Just listening to you talk.
And it's easy to do. It's easy, but it's not simple, just because of how we've set up our lives. But you make a conscious choice. And if you need to, say for the 15 minutes, if that's what it needs to be, because you can't give yourself a half of a day or a day, I'm going to go do something a little different. I'm going to walk east instead of west. I'm going to take the long way home. I'm going to open up to just feeling and seeing and see the things, or notice that just kind of like, oh, what was that? That was for you.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much. I loved hearing your story and the beautiful path that it took to the work that you're doing right now. If people are wanting,
it wasn't always beautiful, trust me.
I know, right? But it's such a great thing for us to be able to like take our little nugget away from and see how it applies in our world today. So thank you. And if people are wanting to find out more about you, where can they go?
My website is www.dw5pcoach.com. So that's Dina Washington, DW, 5P as in Peter, coach.com. And the 5 P's represents passion, presence, plug-in, power, and purpose.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You do the same.